feel so wonderful to know that he had your support and that your friendship throughout all of these years. I met John about 30 years ago when he came to folk dancing, and I almost remember the night when he first came. I kind of felt sorry for John. I think a lot of us had a lot of feeling for maybe his physical condition. When he first came, he says, "I can't learn how to dance. I'll never learn how to dance." And I said, "John, you can learn it." I said, "This dance is down in your heart, and you're going to bring it out of your heart." And he did. He just stuck with the dance, and he stuck with it. He came Friday night after Friday night, and he became a really good dancer through the years. And then he went on into the contra dancing, and he just loved contra dancing. Unfortunately, most of the girlfriends that he chose were not dancers, so we didn't see him as much as we would have liked to have seen him. But I can tell you that his heart was always in folk dancing. And he even said when anything ever happened to him that he wanted to make sure that it was the folk dancers who were always there for him. He had a big family, a real big family, and his family was all from East Germany. And I think his father died when he was young, or something happened to his father when he was young. And his mother remarried, and so he had a stepfather that he was brought up with. When they came over to America, he lived with his stepfather and his mother at that time. And John and I became very, very close during that time. I was close to his mom and dad and really cared for them, and just was kind of involved in that part of his life outside of folk dancing. But his family impressed me in Helmet so much, and we went to Dresden, and we were over in East Germany, now West Germany also, but we went over there and met some of his family. We were so impressed. They were either doctors, they were lawyers, or they were educators, and a very highly intelligent family. And I still stay in touch with especially Annalise. That was his aunt, and he loved her so much, and I still talk to her. She's a wonderful woman, and several of them have been over here, been to your house, Judy, and they've been to the different folk dance parties around. John in Germany and East Germany, of course the medical facilities weren't as great back when he was a young man. And what happened to him with his speech impediment and his disability is that when he had tonsils and adenoids removed when he was very young, and they took too much out, and that's what caused all of his problems with his speech all of those years. And he had numerous operations, and it also affected his hearing, so he had to have operations on his ears also. And this has been off and on through our folk dance career. Wires. Yeah, remember when he was wired? Yeah, he really had some problems. My family kind of adopted into our family, as we do many orphans. Come to Mary Lou's house at Christmas and you can see all of our adoptees. But my daughter was John. This is my daughter, Jana, and my grandchild, Gianna, and they adored John. And Jana's going to really miss him. He became like a brother to her, and he was always part of every family function that we ever had. And you all know I had a huge family too, but you know, they all took John in as one of our own, and we never did anything that we did not invite him in. Then, of course, 25 years ago, by the way, gang, folk dance anniversary, 25 years ago, Helmut and I, married on the 27th. We were going to have a great big celebration this year, and we had already arranged it at the church, and then so much happened. Helmut broke his back. We got a close relative on hospice, relation on hospice, and then John, and we just had to cancel out our anniversary celebration this year. It just didn't feel like emotionally we could handle it right now. But again, John and I drew closer because of this German relationship. And you all knew Gudrun, who was in our folk dancing. She was also from Dresden, and they met here in folk dancing, Gudrun and John. or maybe they met at the church and she had invited him into the folk dancing. John couldn't do enough for my family. He was always there for us. And right now, Christmas time, I'm going to miss his amaryllis. If any of you have ever been in on the amaryllis, he always bring us one at Christmas time, and I'm going to miss not seeing that. But right when Helmut broke his back, when he fell, and John was in the hospital through the whole surgery with us. He came every single day. He couldn't do enough for me. He wanted to work out in our yard. A couple of days before he died, he bagged how many bags of leaves and stuff, that he had come over and did that at our house. And again, he was always there for me and all of my family crisis, because when you have a big family, there's always a big crisis going on somewhere in it. And so he was always there by my side during that time. John was an avid reader. Honey, hand me this book right here. He loved history. Anything to do, he was always bringing me books. This is the last one he expected me to read. He brought this book and he says, please read it so we can discuss it, because he loved American history. Actually, he loved history all over the world, and he loved current events and anything to do with, he liked to talk politics. I stayed off of that subject with him, as I do with most of my friends. He loved opera, and he loved classical music. He had an extensive opera and classical music collection, and that's going to be another thing I'm going to miss with him, is sharing that love of opera and classical music with him. He was a wonderful hiker. He loved hiking, and you did hiking with him. Some of you in here have hiked with him, and he always trying to get me to hike with him. I said, I don't know if I can do 4 miles today, but when he hiked, and he just loved nature. He loved the outdoors. His half-brother, Ernie, and that's his only relative here in this country, his father and mother moved to West Virginia after his father retired, and they got a nice little house out in Lewisburg, West Virginia, and John just loved going out there to visit them because it's a beautiful mountainous area, and he just loved going out to Lewisburg. But he and his brother were not close. In fact, they were a little estranged, I think. Ironically, his father got ill this past year or year and a half. His father was really ill, and John kept going out to help in the care of him along with his brother. And still they were apart. But anyway, 3 days, a week before John died, he got a call. They had since moved the father up to New York and put him in John had cared for him for the summer. He went out and spent a couple of months with him in the summer and cared for his daddy, and now it was his brother's turn. And so his brother took him to a home, a skilled home up in New York. And so John had gone up. His brother called him and told him, he said, I think Dad's down on his last legs, you better come on up. So a week before John died, he went up to New York, and he and his brother had a wonderful reconciliation of their relationship, and they were able to really get out a lot of things that had happened over the years, and it was just wonderful. John came home elated. He was calling everybody. Did he called everybody to just let them know, how happy he was that they had reconciled. And so, I think that was a wonderful thing for his brother Ernie. So anyway, Ernie may be coming down here. The obituary, I don't know. The funeral home was supposed to take care of that, and I don't know. That's been a big problem. But anyway, what happened with his remains? He was cremated. The cremation remains have been sent up to New York, and hopefully they will be sent to their family gravesite in Dresden, and that's what the family wants. We understand this costs thousands and thousands of dollars to do this, so whether or not the family is going to get all this up together, but that's where John would have liked to have spent his last years. He didn't want to leave us until it was his very end of his years, so anyway, maybe they will take those remains up there. But I love John very much, as most of us did. I'm going to really, really miss him. And it's going to be hard Christmas time not having him at our house. And I'm sure that all of you all feel the same. So.